Previously on Rob Has a Podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm very excited to see how this all is going to play out. Of course, tomorrow night is the double eviction. We don't normally do this on the podcast, but I have a sneak preview from tomorrow night's show coming up here for you guys here tonight. So this is the sneak preview of tomorrow night's episode of Rob Has a Podcast. Hey, everybody, welcome to Rob Has a Podcast Thursday night, double eviction night. We got a great show. Brendon and Rachel are here, but Bridget got voted out of the double eviction. They had everything lined up. I can't believe it. What a disaster this has been here for Big Brother 18.
Coming to you live from my apartment. Hey, Rob Has a Podcast. And now, here's a guy who is never, ever going to get excited about the double eviction ever again. Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. We knew it. We knew this was coming. I can't even be mad tonight. I can't even be upset that this was what was going to happen because we knew it. They only go one way, these double evictions. And, of course, and I'll tell you why I'm not even super upset tonight, because I don't think this was the worst case scenario, even though it was certainly pretty far from the best case scenario, because we a lot to talk through. But first, let me bring in our guest tonight. Very excited to have Big Brother royalty here with us for the first time on the podcast since becoming parents. Here are the great Brendon and Rachel. Brendon, how are you? And Rachel, how are you?
Hey! I'm busy voting for one of the worst twists ever, the BB care package.
Who are you voting for?
I'm voting all 19 on my phone, and Brennan's voting for Michelle. Absolutely.
Wow.
Super safety. At this point, we have to give Michelle super safety.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Michelle hasn't won it.
Yeah,
sorry, I thought she'd already won.
Who do you want me to vote for?
No.
Okay.
No, that's
all
right. Yes, yeah, Michelle is the right one.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
All right, of course, also on a very busy night between the double evictions and the live feeds, a man who probably was going crazy, was probably living for the live feeds over the last 24 hours, and maybe all for naught right now. Brent, Wolgamott. Brent, how are you?
Rob, I was in Miami, Florida earlier today. I flew back for this. Corey is the head of household. Corey, please. Stop.
All right. It's going to be a lively show tonight. We're going to get a lot of reactions from everything from the double eviction, from the live feeds from the last 24 hours, and ultimately we've got another HOH that's going to happen tonight. Probably won't come on until after the West Coast airing of the show. Brent, is that how you see this?
Sometimes it comes up really fast, so it may possibly be done by the end of our show tonight. I'll keep a lookout.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on it, and one way or the other, I will be live Friday morning for our Big Brother live feed overnight update from Friday morning. So we'll talk about the new HOH and the likely nominations coming out of all this. But we're going to get your questions as well. Hashtag RHAP, and then also on our YouTube channel, robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. Of course, Eric Stein last night, Brenchel tonight. Derek is going to be on the show Sunday night, so we are in the midst of a great run here in terms of podcasting. I don't know about in terms of Big Brothering, but let's get into all this. So, Brendon, Rachel, first off, how are you guys doing? Baby Adora doing great?
Baby Adora is right behind us. She's doing really well. She's on the bed. I set forts up for her, so she can't actually escape the bed and fall off, because that's already happened twice.
Okay,
Under the dog bed, though.
Yeah, she fell from our bed onto our dog bed. It was
and she's not going to cry during the podcast?
She might cry when we talk about
That's
what
okay.
happened
That's
tonight on
okay.
Big Brother.
I love babies. I love babies.
Oh, come on, Donald Trump, slow down.
They're so good. I love babies. No, I'm just kidding. Get that baby out of here. What do you think? I want the baby crying while I'm talking? No. I'm just kidding. All right, so we got a lot to get to tonight. Here's why. Let me start off. Let me tell you why I'm not that mad tonight, because I was really incensed when Corey got the HOH, but I think Corey is so dumb that the plan to sort of frame Nicole, which ultimately ended up happening, and Brent, maybe you could set this up a little bit more. It looks like that the guys that Paul and Victor and James seemed like they were able to come back to at least Corey and Paulie and say, We don't know what happened. Pissed. What is this about? Guys are back together. Let's just get rid of Bridget. And with all due respect to Bridget, I think that this is probably an acceptable loss because this could have been so much worse. We could have had Natalie go home in the double eviction, Brendon and Rachel.
True. That would have been really weird. Then we would have all been pissed. But I think my favorite moment of this whole episode was Corey's face. I wish you could just zoom in right now, Rob, with the clip of it. Because when he wins, he's just like,
What?
Yeah. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, Corey by far was the most surprised by his win.
Yeah. And then he, like, literally took all the guys into a room and was like, well, I don't know, guys. What should we do?
Hey, bro, are we going to make the bomb squad or what?
Yeah, bro down.
What were the girls thinking that they were not in there breaking up the bro squad? Also, that was my biggest question.
So hold on, Brent. Now, could you just set up exactly what happened there? Because I thought that the plan going into tonight was going to be that they were going to make this plan to frame Nicole. Yet when Nicole voted, she's like, "I guess I vote to evict Meech, but I know she's staying, so whatever." God. Nicole looked miserable the whole night up, and she looked like she was on the verge of tears the whole live show until Corey won.
Well, she was, because if you remember back to Big Brother 16, the first double eviction in Big Brother 16 was where her and Hayden were totally bamboozled. So I'm sure she was having flashbacks. By the way, Nicole, bad TV. Bad TV. She totally gave it away to the viewers that she knew what was going on, that it wasn't a blind side. I mean, how can you be a two-time player and not know how to put out good TV? Seriously.
I don't think she cares about that.
Apparently not.
Hold on, but why, if you're going to, first off, if you know she's going, then why vote? Why are you voting for Meech in that spot?
First of all, the fish, came on. Fish, for people who don't watch the feeds, is when Big Brother takes the feeds down and you just see a fish tank for like 4 hours.
Jeff Fish.
Right. So the fish were on for about 2 or 3 hours right before the show tonight, and obviously in that time some things came out. You heard Julie talking about what went down even minutes before the live show. Obviously everything came out. You heard Paulie saying the double eviction. Well, I don't want to be too assertive here. I don't want to tell people what to do. So obviously he's feeling defensive about that. It looks like everything is pretty much out in the open right now, except for the fact that Victor and Paul have plausible deniability, as you say.
Plausible deniability.
Thank you very much. I caught it this time. And they were able to act like they weren't in on the plan. Now, James, on the other hand, you could tell from his reaction to Corey that he was like, Corey, you do what you do. It's your HOH. Obviously, James could not hide the fact that he was the third vote to keep Michelle, because Corey's not going to believe that Nicole was the one who did it. I mean, he's going to know that it was James, Michelle, or James, Bridget, and Natalie who were the votes.
Okay, let me just also have you just go back a little bit further, because I think that we have a lot of people who listen to the podcast who aren't on top of what was going on the live feeds and are probably a little bit confused because the show did not devote a lot of time to all of the craziness over the last 24 hours. So, Brent, could you give us like the 90-second version of the craziness that we saw basically from the end of the podcast last night to the live show today?
I will try. And for people watching out there, don't kill me. I'm trying to get this in 90 seconds
short
here.
version.
So basically, everything came to a head from my standpoint when Natalie essentially challenged James's manhood. She was like, look, if you're going with the rest of the house, I'm going to be sitting on the block next to the Zakiya next week, and I'm going to be the target. And he's like, well, I'm not going with the rest of the house. I'll save you. So that's what got the ball started. And then as you talked about with Alex and Eric last night, Paul got in on the plan because as the seeds have been planted this week by Paulie inadvertently that he doesn't really have Paul's best interests at heart, okay? So fast forward to last night, Natalie decides that it's a good idea, after their plan is already in place, that she's going to call out Paulie to Zakiya. She goes straight to Zakiya and tells her all the things that Paulie has done, that he says it's a one-sided relationship, that Zakiya is desperate, that Paulie's been flirting with Natalie day and night. And Zakiya says, oh, I feel so stupid, But fast forward 10 minutes later, she's talking to Nicole and basically attacking Natalie. And then, of course, all of it gets back to Paulie. And from then on, Paulie and Natalie have it out where they're basically calling each other every name in the book. Paulie was a pretty bad sport. He took a few pretty low blows at Natalie. That's when Bridget got into the mix, and Bridget started saying, like, she has a voice here. Her opinion is valid. You can't just shut her down. I'm a feminist. You can't do that. So now Paulie's in it with Bridget now, and everything went downhill from there. That's the Reader's Digest.
So ultimately, how does Bridget end up taking the fall here over Michelle? That's the thing that I can't believe. Brendon and Rachel, I know you guys follow this stuff very closely as well. why on earth did Bridget go home instead of Michelle, when, especially for those of us who were watching the live feeds, you saw Michelle in a screaming match with Paulie, calling him all sorts of names and basically telling him about how he blew up his game, she blew up his game, and how everything was ruined for him, and then ultimately she stays and nice Bridget goes home.
That's what I'm super confused about that too. I was actually, when I saw that, I was like, oh, for sure, Michelle's going home.
Well, it almost happened. Go ahead, Brendon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we heard them say. I thought that's why Rachel and I were going back and forth as to what they said, because I thought I heard them mention Bridget's name when they were conversing before they actually did it.
Right before the vote, there was that 5 minutes or like 3 minutes that we heard them say, and it was Nicole that said it. Let's just get rid of her now. And then I thought they were talking about Michelle, and Brendon was like, no, I think I heard them say Bridget. And I was like, there's no way. Why would they get rid of Bridget? That makes no sense.
The only thing I can maybe possibly think is, do they maybe think that Bridget's a bigger liability because she was the one that was kind of going back and forth, giving them a little bit of information between Paulie's
That is what's going on. Paulie is convinced that the reason that this all happened tonight is because Bridget has been a double agent. Obviously, Bridget has gotten pretty close to Paulie, and a lot of the information that Paulie was feeding Bridget has been going to the other side. And it's pretty much out in the open now, so Bridget wasn't able to hide the fact that she was being a double agent, and I think that's why, ultimately, combined with her comp wins, combined with the fact that you saw Michelle as a total wreck, they decided to get out the more capable player, who is obviously Bridget.
Yeah.
But the thing that... Oh, sorry. The thing I don't understand is that I don't see how Bridget is a bigger threat, because Michelle is trying to blow up their game right in their faces, and Michelle isn't injured and isn't, you know, it just,
in their eyes,
they're so
they
stupid.
think everyone's against them.
Yeah.
These guys are so dumb.
These guys are so dumb, and and they are idiots, and they are losers if they think that Bridget was going to be the person who, like, they voted out Victoria tonight.
Yeah.
And so Bridget, I'm sad to see her go. She was very nice, but really we probably took the person who's the least interesting TV character out of the Jenga board, and maybe outside of Corey. And I can't believe that they would think that in the double eviction, you get rid of the person, we don't want anybody to change their mind tonight. They've got to get out a big threat. And they took Bridget out in this scenario where we could have lost Natalie. I really thought that if the veto was used, I thought Natalie was going to go home.
That's what I thought too.
Michelle
we
has
were all
been
holding our breath.
Yeah, I mean, Michelle has been reinvigorated. I didn't want to see her go. Brent, so what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say that I think in this instance, it's better to be the cause of the friction rather than the betrayer. I think Paulie and his minions see Michelle as a nuisance, but they do not see her as a problem, okay? They're just like, yeah, she can say whatever she wants. She's already said it. She can't say it again, blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, they view Bridget as a betrayer, as a traitor. So that's why, in their eyes, that she's the one who had to go. I think, it was just a little bit more personal with Bridget.
I think I could see where it would be more personal with Bridget, and Bridget was never on their side. But for me, the whole thing about Michelle going after Nicole, going after Paulie,
right?
It just
I
makes
thought the vote
sense.
flipped right. I thought the vote flipped right then, because I knew they were evicting Bridget, and then Michelle decides to lay into Nicole. You could see it on Nicole's face on the couch that she was like, "Can we switch this vote up real quick? Because I don't really want this chick in the house."
Right.
I had thought during the commercial break that somebody must have said, Mish, it's going to be you. And she's like, oh, okay, it's me tonight? So, okay. So, Paulie, your game is over. Nicole, she said words nobody has ever said before. Jose was right about you. Nobody, Jose's never been right. I didn't say Jose was right.
Jose, he's resurrected.
Jose,
we had a Jose mention, Glenn mentioned tonight, a Glenshin.
Thank you.
Hey, Frank made a comeback.
So happy that Nicole finally got called out. Now, obviously, on the feed, I'm sure she's gonna eventually backtrack and say something. But I was glad that finally some heat is under Nicole, and I'm hoping that she's actually she can be a capable player at times when her back is against the wall. I'm hoping she feels that now. On the other hand, it didn't fill me with happiness to watch those boys like a fivesome in that room and Nicole sitting on the couch. I'm like, Nicole, what are you doing? Like, are you? I mean, I know you feel safe with Corey, but you've got to be in on the plans. Get up off the couch.
Guess who Rachel's been comparing her to?
So I keep saying, I mean, she's totally pulling a Brittany from the Brigade in season 12.
Yeah, this is a great point. Eric brought this up last night talking about how, can't you imagine Enzo sitting there? It was Inception, and can't you imagine her sitting there? Of course, you were there with the Brigade, and you feel like that she has the ability to suss this out, or you feel like it's going to be a similar or worse fate for Nicole?
I think it's going to be a worse fate for Nicole because she thinks that she has the ability to suss it out because she thinks she has Corey, but Corey has said numerous times, if she's got to go, she's got to go. He said this to the boys, and I don't think he's saying that. I think he really means it. I think he's on board with the boys until the end, which blows my mind because these boys, I even said that tonight, I was like, well, maybe it will get interesting because they have to turn on each other. That's all they have left, you know. So what are they going to do? Go after Natalie and then get out Michelle and then what?
I mean, we were also saying how James right now has like the almost perfect point in the game where he could actually swing the game and kind of possibly stay in the middle for a little bit. Because if he can rope everybody around, he might have a chance because Paul does not want Paulie in charge anymore.
Right. Regardless of what we saw on the television show tonight, for those people out there who are lamenting the events of tonight, I am still hopeful that the 5 people who worked together to save Michelle, including Michelle, tonight, will still come together as long as one of them wins head of household.
Right, exactly.
If Paulie or Nicole win head of household, it's going to be a bro down like you haven't seen, and just prepare yourselves for it.
Yeah. And Nicole's going to let the bros bro down. That's the problem.
Yeah. And she said that on the feed. She said, I've been in the diary room saying that Paulie is running the game. She says, I know that, but as long as he's running the game for me, I'm okay with that. I'm like, yeah, but when he comes for you, you're not going to be prepared for it. Because you're not playing the game. Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, the night is not lost yet until this point that we get to see this HOH. There is still plausible deniability going on in that house. So it really comes down to, now Corey can't play in the HOH, so it really comes down to if Paulie or Nicole, are there any other bogeys out there, Brent? Paulie or Nicole win HOH? Anybody else wins, then the power that look for maybe Paulie or Nicole to end up on the block or Corey to end up on the block. But if one of those two wins,
I'm having flashbacks to Big Brother Canada 4, where it was like 4-1 and then it was 3-1, where we couldn't get a win when we needed it.
Well,
so
also think about the safety. Also think about the care package, because if Michelle you guys are right. Michelle's going to win the safety. So really, does it matter if she? I mean,
well, let's talk about that. Okay, so let's just set this up. So the care package now comes out on Friday. I actually thought that Bridget had a great shot to win that care package. I tweeted earlier tonight. This is huge ramifications for the care package. So now, that just because Michelle, maybe people are feeling bad for her now, did she gain enough momentum? Was she currently in third in that poll? I can't imagine that she's currently sitting in third place or fourth place right now. What do you guys think that she had enough momentum?
I think she had enough momentum because on Twitter I posted that I was gonna vote for Paul this week because then we could just throw it away. Dude, I've been trying. And then everyone on my Twitter was like, "Oh, vote for Bridget, vote for Michelle. They're the ones that are in danger." I thought Michelle was going home for sure, so I didn't vote for Michelle. But then I was voting for Paul because I personally wanted Bridget to win the co-HOH because I'm trying to play strategically. Yeah, I'm friendshipping. I'm trying to play strategically. But at this point, it's like, God, if Michelle goes home but even if Michelle wins, are they going to get rid of Natalie this week? Because they have
that would be a danger.
So danger. And then and they have Victor. I mean, literally, it's Natalie and Michelle playing for themselves. Maybe James, but what is James going to do if James wins?
Do you think James might have actually snapped out of America's favorite player mode?
No, he said tonight. He's like, I got that vote, and it was like America was like, F that, James.
Oh,
F
yeah.
The America sent him a care package to say, F that, James. Blow that up in that house.
Did he say America or America?
I think he said America.
He didn't say America. He said, my fans sent me that care package. They said, F that, James. Yeah.
By the way, for those of you out there who are voting, like the number one reason to vote for Michelle over all reasons is that if Michelle Michelle gets the care package, and Nicole realizes that America likes Michelle, she's going to have a nervous breakdown, and it's going to be fabulous feeds.
That is true.
So here's the tricky thing, though. The voting was open from Sunday. So as of the last 2 days, Michelle sat at number 3 on Joker's updates, behind Bridget. So Bridget's out of the mix now. Yet, earlier in the week, Michelle was lower on the list, and she was right around the middle with Nicole. There's an outside shot that I don't think
she has the underdog edit. I mean, I think she's going to win the casual fan vote. She's
got to really get that late push tonight.
That late push, she is going to need that late push. I
know.
Because the care package goes out tomorrow. Yeah. And then I'm still blowing my mind. Who the hell has this stupid round trip ticket?
I don't know.
I mean, at this point, with our luck, it has to be Paulie. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm serious.
I got the round trip ticket. That's all I need. You can't
On the other
get
hand,
rid of me.
The chances are more likely than not that it will never come to fruition. I mean, there were 12 tickets given out. Only 5 are going to be open, so obviously it's not even a 50-50 chance at this point. So there was something. I don't think this is a spoiler because it was in the news, but Alison Grodner said in an interview, I think it was with Entertainment Weekly today, that if none of the round trip tickets, if the round trip ticket doesn't come to fruition, there is a possibility for a juror buyback, and Davon or other people may come back into the game.
Oh, so I think that this is in conjunction.
Really? I would love that.
They've announced a Friday night episode of Big Brother next week, and they didn't tell us what it is. Is it possible that if the round trip ticket doesn't get used on Thursday, they say, hey, guess what? It's a battle back again on Friday night. Somebody's coming back into the house, Brent.
It could be, or and if the round trip ticket gets used, it's probably like a clip show on Friday or something. I don't know. You never know.
Whoa, but Battleback has already been used, so they have to come up with some new clever name.
Maybe do Battleback 2.
Battleback 2.
When did they announce the Friday show?
They announced it tonight. They said there's going to be a Friday episode, so we'll have a Friday night Big Brother podcast as well coming up next week.
Battleback 2, Battlebacker.
Battlebacker. Okay.
So then, in their opinions, they wouldn't announce that if they didn't think that someone would get the ticket, right? I mean,
obviously they must think it's unlikely at this point.
But they don't know what the nominees are going to be yet.
And they don't know, haven't had a household, right?
So that's why they didn't announce what it's going to be. I think that by the time that they get to the veto competition, I think they'll then.
I know there have been a lot of theories, and I think I just figured it out.
Yeah.
Somebody opens it up. It's a golden ticket. They slide right directly into Big Brother 19.
Yeah. No, Eric was talking about that last night. He thinks that returnees are going to be a part of Big Brother 19. So we'll see. All right, let's try to talk.
Glenn just went back into sequester.
Yeah, Glenn's back. He's going back into sequester. Let's try to talk through the events of tonight in some sort of chronological order, so we can sort of just get a sense of all the different parts of tonight. So the first thing that we ended up seeing was the lead up to the vote and all of the machinations of the House. All the different players basically saying Paulie has too much power. Brendon and Rachel, could you guys talk a little bit about Paulie and his move this week to try to save Zakiya? Of course, that you guys were in a functional showmance, not really the same as the Paulie and Zakiya relationship.
Not even close. No.
Even if you guys had some bumps along the road in the house. But they ultimately, this was a weird showmance where she was on the block, he won the veto, he didn't save her because he said she was safe, she wasn't, she goes out. But did he push too hard to keep her this week?
I don't think he pushed too hard because for some reason they are obsessed with Paulie. Everyone in that house doesn't care about anything except whatever Paulie says. And we saw that tonight when Corey won HOH. It was all about what Paulie wanted. But my question is, I've never seen in Big Brother where someone does not use the veto, even if they're just friends. Not showmans, but just friends in general. Why would you not use the veto on someone in your alliance that is a clear vote?
No, you know what the hardest thing to watch is? It's difficult to watch Zakiya even talk about Paulie.
Yeah,
you feel like you're watching
tonight.
Literally a woman with battered wife syndrome almost.
Yeah,
that shower scene. She couldn't even talk. She sat there on whatever she's sitting on, right where he's in the shower, and she's talking to him, and she's not even talking. She's just staring at him like a puppy dog, going, "Well." Like I'm like, ask him. He told you if you pick Haska's choice and you pick him that he would use the veto on you, and that's exactly what happened. Hold his feet to the fire, and she didn't do it, and I was so pissed.
She did, and then when Julie asked her when she got evicted, she said, "Is there a chance something outside the house?" And she said, "I don't know. It's kind of up to him." Like, what? She's
such a waste.
Okay, well, let's talk about that interview with Julie Chen, because I thought it was really disappointing. Now, Brent, do you think that Zakiya knew she was going out, or was this a blindside for her? Because I was killing her on Twitter, and then people were tweeting back to me, well, she just got blindsided. She didn't know what was going to go on.
No, it's clear that she knew she was going to be evicted. I mean, yeah, exactly. It looks like everybody knew. Paulie knew, Nicole knew, Corey knew. I mean, it wasn't a surprise. I think, I mean, her the way she acted, I think maybe she was surprised by the events leading up to the eviction. Obviously some things came out and everyone revealed that, hey, we're going to keep Meech. Sorry about that. By the way, really quickly, just going back to what you said about the boys, I thought James played this perfectly tonight. He couldn't hide the fact that since Corey was head of household, he couldn't hide the fact that he was the third vote. Like they were gonna pin it on Nicole, but he couldn't hide the fact that he was the third vote. He basically just fell on his sword and said, "Hey, man, it's your HOH. You do what you've got to do. I totally understand." And I think that really disarmed Corey and got James back in the good graces of the guys.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Corey nominations when we get there. I still want to talk through Zakiya a little bit. So. Rachel, I thought that Julie was uncharacteristically hard on Zakiya when she was talking about, like, do you think that, if you played your game a little bit, like, and not worried about the boy, then maybe you still be in the house? Do you think that?
Absolutely. But you know what? I think that this is the Julie that we like to see, because whenever Julie has, like, serious questions that she really wants to ask, she is a little bit harder on the people. But the problem is that Zakiya just had no answers for it. Like, it was just like she was just she acted like she had no idea how to even be a woman at that point. Like, that was what was disappointing.
No, I mean, it's just some people come out when you watch people come out of the house, they come out differently. Some people are well prepared for it mentally. They walk out, they're ready for the interview. Some people look like they just got hit by a bus. She's definitely falling in that category because Zakiya had no clue what was going on. And she couldn't even, like, make heads or tails of her and Paulie's relationship. Yeah. Because deep down, she knows, really, that it's a crap relationship, but she's on national TV. And she's just coming to grips with the fact that everyone she's ever known is watching this unfold right now.
Yeah, and on top of it, like, what I don't understand is how Zakiya did not blast him when she was when she was doing her exit interview. Like, if that was me, I would have been like, Julie, you know what? Like, screw showmances. I hope the girls in season 19 do not do showmances. Like anything. Because I just think I can't imagine leaving the Big Brother house getting screwed over by Paulie twice. That she would just, like... I
mean, and we're wondering why a girls' alliance didn't work, right?
Why
But you guys saw the first person she hugged when she got evicted was Paulie.
Yeah. A lingering hug. Like, she would not let him go. I thought they had to pry her off with the jaws of life.
Oh, my God, Rob.
It was so disappointing.
I'm sorry. I've seen enough of Zakiya. She was completely vapid in that interview with Julie, if that's what you can call an interview. I mean, there was no substance there whatsoever. It's so terrible, too, because she was a striking, eloquent, articulate woman when she walked into the Big Brother house, and it just all fell apart.
I got a hold of her, and look at her now. Basically,
yeah.
Now she's like a step forward for what?
What I don't understand is that you guys kind of touched on this last night, but we did have a setup this season with strong females, and they did. I said to Brennan that they
but Mama C doesn't like strong females.
I know. They cast strong females, and I don't understand what happened.
Until they put Mama Calafiore in the house, we ain't gonna have a strong female winner. Yeah, Rachel, that you've been pushing for this women's alliance for years, and I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I mean, my sister tried. I think that, like, Joey tried from what season was Joey on? Season 16.
You drummed all these people up in all these years in the pregame interviews, and it still never happened.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe because I didn't do the interviews this year pregame. Because pregame, I always get on the girls. I'm like, Girls Alliance. But,
I think that's what happened. So I thought that Julie Chen needed to do like the Marcellus style, like hitting Zakiya with the card tonight.
Yes!
Like, wake up, smell the coffee,
Absolutely.
Zakiya. There's no showmance after the
It
season.
would just snap her out to get a real reaction.
I know.
Best case scenario for Zakiya, Paulie goes out this week, and then they have like 5 weeks in the jury house together.
Oh,
That's the best
yeah.
case
Oh,
scenario
yeah.
for this relationship.
Yeah,
Only
totally.
chance of it working. Only chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, I'm pretty sure it's not working out.
No, I think that maybe 5 weeks alone in the jury house together, I think that's the only thing that could potentially help this relationship. All right, so then after Zakiya goes out, we're okay. All right, here we go. And so we get to a competition, and Eric Stein made a great observation last night where he talked about how that these competitions really have not favored anybody but these guys because they always spill over to Sunday, so there's some sort of like physical competition. And here we go. It's a quiz. And first question, right off the bat, Bridget and Paulie get it wrong, and all of us are like, here we go. Paulie was the only threat to win the comp, and then suddenly the next question, somehow, this dolt, Corey, that everybody else is, thinking about these things, and he's the only person somehow that gets this question right, and he becomes the new HOH. Brendon, you're a scientist. What were the chances?
Well, let me think. It was like true or false, and then Corey was like green.
Yeah.
Like, Corey, that's not an answer. But it turns out that's right.
Yeah.
Damn
it was, how did that happen? Like, we were sitting there after Paulie cheering that Paulie was done, and then the next thing you know, Corey out of nowhere.
No, it was like it was like when somebody hits a home run out of it was like the kid that you just never expected, and everyone is just amazed at it, and he is just standing there with his mouth open too, bigger than everyone else. That was the most amazing part.
That was the thing, yes, and then it was almost like you almost either wanted like Natalie, you wanted a girl to win, or someone not in Paulie's thing, or Paulie to win because you wanted
no Nicole, no Corey, no Paulie. That's it.
Thank you. That's what you wanted.
Right, or you wanted Paulie to win just because you wanted to show these dummies what they've been doing.
Not with Bridget.
No, obviously you don't really. But I'm saying like, okay. Anyways,
well,
my
it
thinking
was great.
is
I will just say, I'm going to rewind because tonight has been such a horrible night so far. When Paulie gets eliminated and Michelle is literally jumping up and down in his face, I'm going to go rewind that and watch that about 100 times before the next HOH
high
comes
point
out.
of the evening right there.
Really
that
was,
is when we were at our all-time high, and we were perfectly set up here for this ultimate disaster of the night just crashing when Corey wins the HOH. But that was when it bottomed out. That was the ultimate bottom point of the night, because then we got to Corey's nominations, and I think that we were all very scared for Natalie, who all in all, I think really got screwed by the edit. Now, Rachel, we haven't talked about her much, but I'm presuming that you are a big Natalie fan.
Oh my God, I love Natalie. She's adorable. She's feisty. She has the will to win competition. She just hasn't won one yet, which is what just drives me nuts. Because I disagree. I think that rope challenge that Victor won, I think it was made for a female. I don't think it was for a strong male.
Oh,
I think,
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they were just probably as surprised that Victor could win that stupid thing as anyone else. And then with this quiz, like, quizzes are crapshoots. With the physical, they have to do a physical competition for a veto, and Natalie doesn't get picked. Like, how does that happen? It's just, that's the big brother, dice that gets
you don't
rolled.
root for somebody because that person will lose.
And so, like, so when Natalie's not picked for veto, I was so upset because I was hoping at least Natalie could win the veto, pull Bridget down, and then they had to put someone up, and there would be a chance that if James, Bridget, and Natalie all voted for that same person, there could have been a chance Michelle could have even stayed.
Well, I think she got off topic, but you guys were talking about how Natalie didn't get credit for the edit, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
sorry.
So let's set that up a little bit, because she really got hosed, I thought, in the edit of all this. After she played such a great game this week, really almost no credit on the show. And maybe we'll see that in the Sunday night show. Julie teased that we'll see more of what unfolded during the week on that Sunday night show. So, Brendon, do you want to talk to that at all in terms of Natalie's game this week?
I think one of the worst things is really to consider that James was the person who didn't step up when he had the opportunity the first time around with his 2 vote to be able to switch it and actually do what Natalie wanted also. It wasn't until Natalie came back and said, oh, I have this person and this person, that James finally came on board. So, like, and Natalie really, it seems from what I could tell, Natalie was the one who orchestrated it, but she really didn't get credit. It seemed like I got Michelle and Bridget seemed to get credit for it.
Well, Bridget got a lot of credit, which was, I was confused why they showed Bridget getting a lot of credit in the edit tonight, but maybe
it was her boot episode.
Maybe they knew Bridget was gonna had a chance of going home.
Well, Bridget had a fair amount of input, but I mean, like they really gave short shrift to Natalie because it was basically like she was batting her eyes at James, and that was the edit she got tonight. You know, like when she was far more instrumental. I mean, I really do think like both Bridget and Natalie were basically saying to James, like, you know, do you have balls or not? I mean, they basically said that to him, and he's like, yeah, like let's play the game. Natalie said the best thing today, and I retweeted it. She's like, you know what? I'm not going out of this game without a fight. I'm not some submissive girl. I don't care if I lose. I'm here to play the game. And that's how all people should play Big Brother, not to get 5th or 4th or 6th or not embarrass yourself. Play for the damn win.
Well,
yeah,
Brent,
absolutely.
Could you set up the big confrontation between Paulie and Natalie that happened last night in a family-friendly way? Could you give us the quote that Paulie had for Natalie?
We'll play a drinking game every time Paulie drops an F-bomb.
right, exactly. He can't speak without using an F-bomb every other word. They were fighting, and Natalie was calling him, you know, you're running this house, and you know you're flirting with me when you're supposed to be with Zakiya, and you treat her like crap. And you know he said some things back to her. Ultimately, he said, you know, your game is about as fake as the things on your chest. Obviously, yeah, it was a really low blow. Wouldn't
approve of that one.
James was in the diary room when this was happening, and when he came out, of course, they instantly filled him in on it. And if anything, that is what really sent James over the edge to really go through with this plan, because he said, you know, my eyes were opened. I didn't realize he's kind of a jerk like that, you know.
And he was so proud of himself too.
Oh, yeah.
He was smiling so much, and then he's like resetting the story. So I said to her, "You're about as fake as like and really just telling everybody." Well, it was such a great line
for like 4 hours. I mean, you know what? Paulie is his brother. I mean, Cody would go on and on and on forever about I'm going to do this and I did this and I did this. I know, you know, and I personally love Cody as a player. I don't love Paulie so much, but I mean, he's
remix.
Somebody every time Paulie gets going, somebody, I can't remember who it is, I think it's the Big Brother president, tweets this thing where it's like the little mouse from Cinderella, like ranting at the screen, you know. That's exactly what Paulie looks like when he gets on a roll.
Now, have you guys met Paulie at all before this season started?
Yes, and he was Brendon even said
so I actually
so
have a pretty funny story. So we went to the Big Brother premiere in New York last year with Adam Pog, Frankie was there, Cody, Derek.
Yeah, everyone.
We met everyone, and we hung out with Paulie. We actually went out one night, and I don't really drink, so they were doing shots, and I ended up throwing up out of Paulie's car.
And Alyssa and I we had even left before, like hours before Brendon and Alyssa's husband went home.
But what
Brendon,
I honestly,
I don't care if you throw up in my car, because sometimes I just get in a hot tub and I just I'm not even concerned about what fluids are anywhere. Yeah. So that's good.
So Paulie like took Brendon home and like took care of him.
Wow.
So
he didn't take. Whoa. No, he just gave me right back to the hotel, but he was nice. But all I remembered was like, you know, I met him before I was that drunk. But even talking to him, he seemed like a really nice guy, really personable.
Yeah.
So even coming in, we really had high hopes for him, thinking that he was going to be like Cody, you know, pretty sociable, really nice guy. And I actually thought he would be better than Cody, because I thought he was probably a little bit more intelligent.
I picked Paulie to win the whole game as in my Big Brother draft. And even Allison and Rich did an interview in the beginning of the season saying that Paulie was one of the most likable house guests they've had.
Yeah.
So
the death touch.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, tell me this, because you obviously went through this in Big Brother 15 when your sister was in the house, and again, that your sister was never a villain in the story unless you ask like some of these Big Brother 15 house guests. But
whoa, her sister Alyssa definitely wasn't a villain.
Yeah. So, but what is that like for you to have to own the actions? Like, could you give us a little bit of a window to what my brother Cody must be going through this summer?
Well, to be honest, I can't, because when Alyssa was on, I was so nervous and scared for her every week, but she was winning MVP and America's Favorite every single week. So for me, it was like, I knew, like, it was so hard watching her inside the house, but then I knew when she was getting outside of the house, I was just getting the nicest text messages, the nicest, everyone on the social media was like, go Alyssa, Team Alyssa.
You know what, so, it's actually, I think it's harder for Big Brother players to watch
it was
than
so
it
hard
is
to watch.
be able to play.
Yeah.
Because for us, like Cody, he can't do anything about it.
Right.
So he sees his brother, messing up and saying all this stupid stuff, and people like just slamming him on the outside, and he can't do anything about it.
And we were so close. We were so close to getting Paulie out of the house tonight, because I know you guys noticed that Natalie's name didn't get picked for the veto, but Paulie's name also didn't get picked for the veto.
Right.
And the whole plan was to put up Corey and Nicole and then backdoor Paulie. So obviously it was a chance wasted.
Yeah. Okay, so then we get to the point where we get these nominations that come up, and so it's Bridget and Mish that go up on the block. And so, Brent, now you started talking about this earlier, about how James somehow is able to avoid being nominated, which I think is pretty amazing. So you give the credit to James rather than to the aforementioned dolt Corey to not put the person who defected on the vote earlier tonight up on the block?
Well, I mean, he can only nominate 2 people. I mean, obviously he's going to nominate Michelle because she's been terrible in their eyes for, the last 24 hours, and Bridget is a traitor to them. So, yeah. I think, obviously he doesn't trust James at this point. I'm sure he's pissed that James ultimately voted to evict Zakiya. I'm sure Paulie is as well. But James seemed to be able to disarm them and say, look, I just had to make a call here. I didn't like Zakiya. There's a little too much power there. I had to do it for my game, which I think is the best way to play it. I mean, own it rather than try to run away from it, and people will respect your decision.
Yeah.
So does that mean that James has to win this next HOH, or he's going home, or Natalie?
It's so unsure. I mean, I'm hoping that the 5 are going to stick together. I can never see James turning on Natalie. But I'm hoping that the 5 stick together, and they're just like, they're going to weather the storm. Okay, we lost Bridget, but Paulie, Nicole, and Corey are still our targets. We have to get together to get them out. If they can do that, they'll be okay. If they start splintering again, then all bets are off.
We just have to see on the Sunday night show what ultimately transpires during the double eviction and in the next couple hours after it, because it really does seem like one of the all-time great snow jobs that Paul and Victor and James are able to pull off, that somehow the executives are still together. This is still a functioning unit going in. I mean, they had the power here to basically strike back, and ultimately they make like the most milquetoast move that they could make in getting Bridget out of the house.
But does Corey know the executives are, or does he know about the other 5? Corey's so like aloof. He probably doesn't even know, right?
No, he's part of the 5.
Corey's not part.
He's part of the
executives. He's part of the executives.
Right. He's part of the 5. He's not part of the 3, like the board or whatever the hell they're called.
He's not in the board of the executives. Sure.
Exactly.
Sure. Because it seemed like coming into this is what the disconnect for me was, that it seemed like Nicole was tapped in on everything during the double eviction, where she's almost crying. She's like, I know Meech is staying, but I'm gonna keep her. I'm gonna vote to Victor. But Corey isn't like, hey, like I know what's going on here. He just seemed like he's like, everything's good, right? We're still the guys. We're still gonna do this, right?
No,
what has he got, Rob?
He reminded me of Devin trying to make sure that the bomb squad is still together week 9.
Yeah. Exactly. Just like Devin, I mean, what does Corey have? I mean, he knows he has Paulie and Nicole, but if he doesn't have the guys, then he has nobody. Then it's just the 3 of them on an island together. So I think he's trying to, like, a little bit of denial here, where he's like, okay, you saw there, James and Paul and Victor were not exactly being effusive with Corey when he was asking for affirmation, like, we're gonna do this. They were like, yeah, sure. I mean, it wasn't anything big, so I don't put any stock in that whatsoever. They weathered the storm tonight. Let's hope they can make a comeback in tonight's HOH.
Okay. Brendon and Rachel, give me your take on Nicole as well. Did you guys have any interaction with her before the season?
Yeah, we've had numerous interactions with Nicole, and I've always liked her. But the problem with Nicole is that she must have gone into this season and just thought she was going to have the next showman that's going to get married and have a baby, honestly. And I mean, That's the
You guys set a bad example.
I know.
Rob,
I just
I have
want
to
be
tell
like
you.
Brenchel.
Yeah.
It's her fault.
There's an NFL player who plays for the Browns, and he's always smoking pot. And I think Tom Jackson said, he can't put down the weed. With Nicole, it's the same. Like literally, she cannot put down. She can't put down the boys.
An
yes,
NFL football player smoking pot. That's a good one.
She cannot put down the boys. She has to have a boy in order to feel fulfilled. It just drives me crazy.
You know what? We looked up her age because we had to look up the Wikipedia just to check the ages. Nicole's like 23, 24. I mean,
yeah,
that's still really young, and having played Big Brother twice
and
now,
she wants to,
right?
yeah, and she even said like her and Hayden didn't work out because he didn't want to get married and have babies. But like, does she think Corey is going to get married and have babies? Yeah, exactly.
Rachel, she says that he is the best thing she's ever seen, that he's a man and not a boy. He gets cuter every day. She can't believe someone like this walks the earth. That's what she thinks. That's what she thinks of that little vanilla milquetoast bum who's sitting there.
Well, they may get married and live happily ever after on a goat farm somewhere.
Yeah, well,
but careful with those goats. Yeah, careful. All right, so then we get to the nominations. They're like, okay, so the nominations play out, and then ultimately Corey wins the veto. And I remember Big Brother 13. It's the infamous clown shoe veto, Rachel.
Clown shoe veto, yes.
Yes.
I love that.
Who played? Obviously I remember Big Jeff losing in the clown shoe veto.
Rachel played. She was nominated.
Yeah,
I played. Yeah.
Who won that veto?
Portia won, and
Portia won.
It was a close veto. I was at 2. I think Portia got her 3rd one, and like I was the first person to get the veto in that. So, or not the veto, to get the shoe. So it was I remember being a really.
Hey Rob, how do you think Jeff reacted right after we lost it?
I was like, "Are you kidding? That what? I can't find a clown shoe here in this house."
But yeah, I mean, it was close, but this one. It was not close. This one, it was like Corey with his big long arms.
All right, Bridget, would you rather win the game and win the clown shoe veto, or would you rather lose the game and then be hated by the jury?
That's what Jeff should ask, because she even wanted to win it just for Frank. Like, what?
Oh,
right.
Yeah, she said, because Frank won this veto, so I have to win.
Hey, shades of Gina Marie.
I know, right?
Oh, you're a scrub. You're all scrubs, Frank.
First you flipped, then you flopped.
If Nick was still here.
I'll tell you what, you'd be lucky to get with Cody or Paulie. They're saints, like Nick.
Okay.
No, but you know what?
I'll make them chicken palm any night.
Rachel and
I don't even remember if that's what my Gina Marie impression is.
No, it's pretty good.
Good.
Rachel and I did talk about how we see a lot of season 16 in this season.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about Corey. Corey does actually remind me a lot of Caleb, because we did say about the Bomb Squad still being together week 9.
Yes.
Caleb's thought that for a long time after his time.
Yeah.
And Corey still is probably going to think this until he's gone.
Yeah, and also the females with this season were just like how they were on season 16, where they just wanted to get in these showmances, and the guys were just targeting them from the beginning. It just doesn't make sense. Like, what I don't understand is why, like, even Bridget, Frank has the spell on her, and he's been evicted for like 3 weeks now. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I think it says. I mean, honestly, I think it says more about the women that they've been casting lately. Honestly, they're just, I don't know what they're looking for, but it's not $500,000.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the women cast on the season, you guys had any interactions with Tiffany before the season? Do you know Vanessa?
We know Vanessa, and I actually talked to Vanessa. I talked to her about when Tiffany was going in, because, Alyssa went in, and I told her how, if she needed anything, to give me a call, and we talked a lot. But
don't worry about my sister Tiffany. We have a talk.
No. But her and Tiffany, I think the situation was different, but I think Tiffany was unfairly targeted because of preseason stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, really, I think that because of, I don't know what happened with Derek and Cody telling them they had to get rid of Vanessa or Tiffany, but like,
you mean
Paulie was so
Derek is
obsessed
like
with
an
getting
alternate
it.
in season 18?
Yeah, he is like an alternate in season 18, and Paulie was so obsessed with getting rid of
Is he a coach? Did Derek become a coach in this season? We didn't know about it?
Yes.
Right. That's actually something that came up on the
Coach's
feeds.
twist.
I forgot to bring that up. Natalie brought up continuously how, it's not fair that, Paulie's been coached by Derek. And, of course, Paul, said, well, he's always saying that. Paulie is always going around saying, Derek coached me to do this, Derek coached me to do that. Of course, then you got Derek on you now saying, well, I only had like a little 45-minute conversation with him, and we really didn't talk about the game.
All right, well, Derek will be here. Derek will be here on the podcast Sunday night. We can talk to Derek about all these coaching questions.
And I'm sure he's going to say that he is protecting the integrity of the game.
I did not inhale. I did not inhale.
All right, look, we'll ask him. We'll ask him these questions.
That's like
coming up on Sunday.
I didn't give my sister coaching. I coached my sister. I told her everything.
And then she listened to Rachel's mom.
Yeah, my sister didn't listen,
But so what? I mean, it seems like that even with all of this coaching, that it seems like Paulie's in a pretty bad spot right now.
Well, you know what? I have been listening to a lot of Survivor on old podcasts with you too, Rob, and just seeing how Survivor's way worse about making alliances before anyone ever steps foot.
Because it's shorter. Survivor, if Big Brother 19 or Big Brother 18 was Survivor, the season would have been over for 15 days already. You know, that you make these alliances before you go into the house. And Big Brother, it's like so much more accelerated and also such a marathon that you're on, with everybody 24 hours a day. But by day 50, does anybody care about a pregame alliance? I mean, that was like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. I agree with that now. I think the part where it really harms somebody is like in the first few weeks.
With
like
Tiffany.
The Tiffany.
Yeah,
I think that really hurt Tiffany.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to the point where, and we touched on this a little bit between the vote between Bridget and Big Meech, and I can't get over why they would vote to keep Michelle in the house, especially after she told off Paulie and Nicole right there. Brent, who do you see as the person who's the voice in the room? Do we have to give credit to Paul and Victor here for being able to say, hey, let's keep Big Meech around?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at that again.
Yeah, was it a pro Michelle contingent that said, "Hey, let's keep Michelle," or was it an anti-Bridget voice that ended up winning out?
It looked like it was an anti-Bridget contingent coming from mainly Paulie. Like it looked like, like I said, Paulie was trying to be nice until he couldn't be nice anymore. And literally, when they decided about who they wanted to vote out, it looked like Paulie reasserted himself and got his way again. And they all said, "Okay, we're fine with that. So let's just vote out Bridget." I don't think they really talked about it. I think Nicole wanted to talk about it after Michelle called her out in that speech, but by then the train has left the station. They're not going to switch any votes.
And could have also been a little bit of them saying, well, sometimes they look at players in the game and they think nobody is going to work with them. And maybe that's the case with Michelle. Maybe they think like she's branded. She's got, she's wearing the scarlet letter. Nobody's touching her.
Right. Remember, Rob, from our point of view, we know that those five have been working together. You had Paul, Victor, James, Natalie, and Michelle. But Paulie and Corey and Nicole don't know that. They think Michelle is out on her own little island. So they think, no one's going to work with her. So let's just keep her around. She's miserable.
Brent, I just don't understand that. What does Paulie think happened in the last 12 hours in the house, and why doesn't he seem mad?
Well, he is mad. I mean, like, he's pissed that his name got dragged through the mud.
Like he's in the hot tub.
Right? All right, please.
Hey, if Mama heard what they were saying about me, she would be too happy.
She would have spanked one of them over their knee. Yeah.
Right. I think he's
messing the Califury house. You're getting a butt whooping by Mama C.
Yes.
I think he is aware that Bridget was feeding information to the other side about the various alliances that Paulie had formed. She had talked about the two couples forming. She had told him about the alliance between Paul, Victor, Paulie, and Bridget that Paulie had proposed. And then obviously James knew about the three-way alliance between James, Corey, and Paulie. So again, everything comes back to Paulie. All of his alliances were thrown out on the table. I think he blames Bridget for that. Again, blame the traitor, not the person you know is your obvious enemy. I think that's where it's coming from.
All right, Scott, I want to start to fire up some of these questions. Of course, Bridget then goes out. I'm noticing there's a new phrase that's going around the house. A lot of talk about boning people. A lot of the people talking about like, hey, don't bone me. Don't bone me. Don't bone me. Did I get boned? This person's getting boned.
What does that
don't
mean?
Get boned. You get screwed over.
Let's go to our millennial translation guide.
Yeah.
Yes,
Rob,
yes. I don't think we need a translation guide. I think I can translate that one.
Because I was listening to a to the feeds, and it was like boned, flipped, and what else did he say? Bone flipped and didn't.
No. Bone, flipped, and like tossed or something. I don't remember.
And then clipped, and I was like,
it was either directions to make a salad or having like just destroyed somebody. I don't know.
Like, what does
Paulie
that even
referencing
mean?
Zakiya about something. We were like, we have no idea.
Rachel, do you like Paul?
I do like Paul. I actually do like Paul. Like, the thing is about Paul, he's caught up with Paulie, but I think he gets it. He's on to Paulie. And Paul is entertaining. He's fun to watch. He's a good TV. You know, I liked it when he won HOH because he was crazy. So I do like him. Yeah. I don't want him to win the game, but I do like him.
Okay, so you're friendship.
Friendship.
Yeah, we're friendship.
As long as he never mentions friendship ever again.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some of these questions. Let's start with Austin, who said, not Uncle Austin, how many of these house guests need to grab a life vest, Rachel?
Most of them need to grab a life vest. The thing
Why?
is,
Who are the floaters at this point? I think that Bridget was somebody that you could argue was one of the floaters, but now she's gone.
I would argue Bridget is a floater. I would argue that, well, so this is the thing. I would actually argue that Nicole has been a floater this season, but the power hasn't changed. Because Nicole she never owns up to anything that she does. And whenever Nicole is, if she's worried the power's going to flip, the first thing in her mind to do is go and kiss that person's butt. Just like I think Michelle said that Nicole only talks to people right before there's going to be a competition. And then the rest of the week she's sitting on Corey's lap. So,
yeah, just like Adora is sitting on Brendan's lap.
Yeah, exactly. For me, that is a pretty classic floater, you know?
Yes, and but now that we see her on the video stream, she is a beautiful baby.
Thank you. It's past my bedtime. That's why I'm a little fussy.
Yes, it's past my bedtime too.
Hey, that sounds like a future podcast. The 13 degrees of being a floater.
Yeah, exactly.
The 13 varieties of a floater.
You do need to do that because nobody understands what a floater is.
Okay, we'll get Jordan Parhar on that come January. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Vincent Duncan, and he wants to know, why do you think Paulie still voted to evict Bridget when Michelle called him out twice on national TV? And Maya says, why do you think that Paulie and Nicole went out Bridget after Meech both called them out? Yeah, it's almost like that Meech can say whatever she wants at this point, Brendan.
I mean, I really do think that it was the whole Bridget betrayal thing. I think they really felt like Bridget was this inert player in the game that wasn't doing anything, and that's why they didn't mind her being in the room all those times they were talking about all these big details about their plans.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they start getting out.
Not only that, not only did she snitch on them, but she also got into that fight with Paulie. And if you're going to get into a fight with somebody right before the night of double eviction, don't get into a fight with Paulie because look. Here's the thing. Michelle and Natalie, they pissed off Paulie. I think Bridget made Paulie feel stupid. And that's why he really got his dander up, because she was talking to him like an empowered woman, and he just doesn't really respond well to that.
Yeah. Brent, I am liking the new Big Meech, though, moving forward. Maybe she might turn out to be a character now the rest of the way.
If she can bottle the damn crying. What the hell was that? She didn't get evicted. She's the one who's staying in the house, and she decides to cry. And by the way, Rob, her crying is like such an ugly cry, okay?
I don't want him to be mad at me.
It's like it's worse than like a 2-year-old. It's terrible.
I mean, Rachel really earned her crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She had some fake bushes. I mean, there was usually a reason.
It was funny. This is pathetic. You know? Rachel's crying was fun.
The chat room also wants to commend Adora for doing an amazing Big Meech impression.
Thank you.
They said Adora was doing Big Meech impression.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, very good. Great Big Meech sound effect. It's like she's here. Love Fashion says, is PP permanently broken, or will Paul get to play along until he can get her done with eliminating Paulie? Brent, do you think that PP is back and working now, or is PP down for the count?
Look, right now, you know what's happening in the Big Brother house. I don't even have to spoil it for you guys because I haven't been looking, but I can tell you that all 8 or 9 of those house guests, however many people are left, they're all kissing each other's ass. They're all trying to make up because they don't know who the next head of household is.
Yeah.
Once they find out who the next head of household is, then everyone's just going to go back to what they were doing before. So right now, he's playing along with Paulie. Paul is playing along with Paulie. But if somebody from their 5 wins head of household, I've got to believe that Paulie's on thin ice.
Right now, let's go live to the Big Brother live feeds in the backyard. Okay, Paul, so tell me now, are we good? Are we good? Are we on the same page? Bro, total friendship, PP, all the way. Oh! Yeah.
Not pissed!
I'm not pissed, not over it, not sketch. Yeah, okay. This is from Alexandra W., who says, do you think that Michelle's anti-Paulie speech will endear her to America enough to win one of the remaining care packages? Okay, Brendon, do you think that this late push by Michelle, that she's now the Godfrey of Big Brother 18, could this maybe endear her to the viewers?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think a lot of the people voting are the tweens and the early 20-somethings. So those are the people. Those are the casual fans, and those are the people that are probably going to be voting.
I will say, if it's not Michelle, it's going to be Paul. So either way, I think we're going to end up okay. On this
but what does Paul need safety for? I mean, this is a dumb thing.
Americans do not vote strategically. I think we found that in the presidential race. Okay, so they're going to vote.
Didn't happen yet.
They're going to vote for the most popular person, and the most popular person is probably Michelle or Paul. That's who the most popular people are right now.
Well, and I think it's okay if Paul wins.
Ralph Nader?
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. Yeah.
Because then, I mean, we still have a situation where, I mean, Paul's not going home anyways.
Yeah,
and
but
then next week
somebody gets to nominate whoever they want to go up on the block. I would rather see Paul get that next week.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
I'm a little nervous too because you know, right now Michelle is she's the black sheep of the family. If Paul gets the super safety, obviously Michelle is likely to get the co-HOH. But if she's evicted, then it might go to somebody like Nicole or something. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So as of a couple of days ago, I was thinking that maybe Paul was playing the best game because Paul might have somehow been in the eye of the hurricane. But after tonight, is it possible that we could see Victor going pretty decently far right now?
Not greater than Paul.
I think they're eventually going to the next double eviction is when I expect Victor to go out by. I can't imagine he survives past that. Again, it's going to come back to who wins HOH. If Paulie or Nicole win head of household tonight, it's literally going to be miserable on the feeds. It's going to be the executives back together. I mean, it's going to be terrible. If anybody else wins, we're okay.
Okay.
Is it looking like a PAX Pros win this year?
A little bit, yeah. I'll get out my veil for that.
Darren do you think that Corey put a bigger target on himself by winning HOH and POV tonight? Brent, do you think that that's going to be a bigger target for Corey, or nobody cares about Corey?
I mean, they don't really care about Corey, but on the other hand, he didn't do himself any favors. I mean, he didn't need to win that veto tonight. I mean, he was going to get his way no matter what. Somebody who he wanted to go home was going to go home. I mean, you know, someone like him, when you're a big guy like that, you don't want to make the target on your back any bigger. Again, there was no point on winning it.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Ed Morris. Edmo wants to know, is Natalie in the most danger right now? Well, it's hard to say without knowing who's going to be the HOH. Brendon, do you feel like that Natalie is in the most danger heading into the HOH competition?
I think at least because right now, if two big people take a shot at each other this week, then Natalie somehow managed to slip back into the background. But if she ends up on the block and she's going to be fighting to stay up there, she's going to stay in the crosshairs.
But Natalie could win veto, so.
Well, but
if Nicole or Paulie win HOH, I guarantee you that Big Meech and Natalie are going to be the nominees. The only reason why Natalie is safe right now, and the reason that I think she was not nominated tonight, even with all of her fighting with Paulie all through the night last night, was because of James. I think Corey respects James enough, and he, again, I said this in the feed show on Monday, people, when they're confronted under pressure, they go with the least objectionable course of action, and this was the two people that basically no one in the house cared about are the two people that he put on.
And I will say James did a good job of staying by Corey during that. Because rather than James knowing that he was already in trouble and just kind of distancing himself, which he could have done, and would have put him up on the block. So he stuck right by Corey and was like, hey, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah.
Something I want to bring up really quickly, because Taryn was tweeting about it, and I think Andy was tweeting about it as well, Andy Heron. Literally, you can say that James played well as for, getting himself back into the executives, at least temporarily. But wow, did the girls play bad, especially the two girls on the block. All they have to do is go to Corey and say, look, Paul and Victor are playing you. Yeah. They are playing you. They were wanting to evict you, Paulie. And they didn't do that. So they just
you have to. You
have to, exactly. As Enzo said, and Eric reminded us on the podcast last night, you can't just let death take you. You have to try to do something to change your fate, and they totally just took their medicine tonight.
Boy, we've talked about Enzo more in the last 2 nights
since
Big Brother 12. Yeah.
He's resurrected like the Messiah.
The Meow Meow returns. Okay. Jay Riot Maker says, has there ever been anyone so sure they were going home and then they didn't? The reverse blind side.
I think the woman we're looking at right next to the handsome man, she was pretty sure she was going to go home.
I did.
Which time?
When it was her and Jeff on the block and Kalia broke the tie.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought against Luan I would go home for sure, but then when it was Jeff and I 100% thought they were going to send me home over Jeff. Yeah. Because why would Shelly send Jeff home? Shelly was still in with Jordan and Jeff,
Right.
So that really shocked me, and that was
in the double eviction. Yeah.
In the
double eviction, right? Okay. Yeah, I remember the look on Rachel's face. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to be fun. Okay. Johnny D. Silvera wants to say, is Michelle back to being the GOAT of BB18 for the final two? And if so, should she watch out for Corey, Brendon?
Corey does not have a good reputation with goats, as far as we know. So I definitely, if I was Michelle, I would be wearing anti-flammable clothing.
All right.
Yeah,
not a good combo.
But can Michelle win the game? Does she have winner of the? Is there a combination?
No, Michelle cannot win the game.
Well, hold on though. Let's just take a look at the jury so far, and the two people in the jury, I think, are definitely two people that could be pro Michelle votes in Davon and Zakiya, and then add Bridget to the mix.
Yep.
And you also have a poison Paulie when he ends up in the jury.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I'm not totally sold on this. I know Alex thinks that Michelle can't win the game. I think there's a possibility she can win the game, depending on who she's up against.
Sure.
Especially now that she's come to play. I mean, they can laugh at her all they want. She put it out there tonight. She came to play the game, and she survived a really hellish night of a double eviction, even though when she had no business doing so. So she's got to get props for that.
Yeah.
The only downside with Michelle, because you guys said she's not really a super fan by definition, right?
Yes, I believe she said.
Like, I'm literally the worst super fan in history.
Yeah.
She has seen 7 seasons of the show, I believe, Brendon.
Oh, okay. So not quite the super fan. So I mean, she doesn't have what with the Ians and the Terrys, the Ians and the Steve Moses and the others, anyone else that can make it to the end and possibly win because they have a good idea what's coming up next. She may not have that. So even if she can get that close, she might not have enough know-how of previous seasons to be able to cross that threshold, which those two did.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. Let's do 1 or 2 more questions. Crystal says, do you think that they kept Michelle in spite of so she would waste her boot outfits, and did they just keep Michelle so they could see her get shredded by the Zingbot? Yeah, Brendon, she seemed to be pretty confident Zingbot was coming this weekend. Does Zingbot always come at a certain number?
I don't know, but I do know that Zingbot comes after...
After the first double? I don't know.
I think after the first double, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Final 8.
Does it have to be timed up like that?
I don't know.
That's a bizarre sort of like Groundhog's Day, second Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
If the ratings dip below 6, the robot comes out quick. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Let's get Gregory McBean. Do you agree with Paulie that Bridget was more of a threat than Meech? Brent?
Yes, I do actually. Mainly because Bridget is able to show empathy with people. She's able to relate to them, and she's particularly well-spoken. You know, you can say what you want about Michelle throwing it out there tonight, but she's not well-spoken. She cries all the time, and people don't respect her. Where I think they did respect Bridget. So Bridget was definitely a threat to win in the end. Michelle, I don't think she's drawing dead, but not so much.
Yeah, Brendon, you know, just going back to the Zingbot, he was sort of like working the crowd in the audience tonight.
I know. Well, I didn't know he did outings. So apparently Zingbot is now making his way out into the audience. He's trying to broaden his horizons.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Brent, who do you think is going to get it?
Watch out, Big Jeff.
Yeah.
Zingbot might be coming for your job.
Zingbot, would you rather make fun of somebody and be hated, or no? Brent, who's going to get it the worst from the Zingbot?
Oh boy, probably Nicole for repeating the same mistakes that she did during Big Brother 16. Yeah, and I'm sure Michelle's probably going to get it good if she's still there.
And you know James is getting one good one about Natalie.
Yeah, exactly. Probably Corey too. Like, do you even know what show you're on? Yeah.
What they could zing him on, I feel like they will. That I think he's gonna get off pretty easy.
Corey, there's a whole bunch of goats waiting for you in the parking lot when this is over.
Rob, it's such a surprise that Corey wanted to be with all the boys tonight. Did you notice that? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
all right, let's do one last question. This is from
hashtag not gay Corey.
Yeah. Exactly.
Knowing that James canceled out Corey's vote, which would have been for Z to say, shouldn't Paulie be suspicious of James now? I mean, it sounds like that he just copped to it, and they were just like, okay, James, you're a good guy. I'm not mad about that.
The thing about the canceling votes, first of all, Corey volunteered, so let's just put that out there right away. Corey was like, okay, you can cancel my vote, okay? Then now, late last night, Nicole was trying to get James to switch it, but eventually he just stuck with, well, this is what, he volunteered, I'm just going to do him. And Paul also basically volunteered, was cool with it. So, that is not the tip-off. And if it had been a blindside tonight, as it was supposed to be, that would not have tipped him off, because that's the way things were supposed to play out in the eyes of the minority in the House tonight. But, obviously once the votes come in, then they know somebody obviously has been lying to them, and the only somebody it can be is James.
Okay. All right. Well, where do we go from here? Brent, give me your prediction. Who goes out the door 1 week from tonight?
I'm going to say that we continue not having nice things in the Big Brother house, and Big Meech is going out the door.
Big Meech goes out on Thursday.
I mean, I'm tired of hoping.
Give us a prediction. We don't know the HOH, but who's going out?
In a flash of brilliance, something crazy happens, and we see Paulie leave.
Paulie goes.
All right. Keep hope alive.
Everyone is happy.
No, not Mama C. Not
my brother. Cody.
Yeah.
Bred for this.
And did you see his ass tweeting tonight? He hasn't tweeted all week. Finally, when Corey wins head of household, he's like, yeah. Cody's like, yeah, Corey, you go. I'm like, oh, jeez, shut up. I don't need to hear it.
My brother Cody just told me, make sure you don't bring the end. They can beat you.
Right?
Yeah. I'll go out on a limb. I'll say Nicole goes home. How about that? Nicole,
I can go
1 week from tonight. I'll say it looks like something's crazy is going to happen, and then Paulie wins the veto, because, as we all know...
You know your boy's got to be Italian, because all he's doing is rocking gold chains this summer.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. All right. So, Brendon...
Hey, Cesternino.
Yes.
Where are the gold chains?
Yeah, where are the gold chains? I got to get them on pretty soon. Brendon, what's the hashtag tonight?
What is the hashtag? Rachel, what do you think the hashtag is going to be?
I don't know. I can't think of a good one.
The only thing of a good one. What was popping up tonight? I'm stuck.
How about adorable crying or something like that? I don't know. I'm trying to work in her name somehow. Into the whole adorable. Yeah, exactly. That's lame.
Yeah, it is.
Workshop that, Rob.
All right. How about let's see. What was the biggest thing? What was the biggest thing of the night?
It's like
Bridget's blindside.
All right,
or Michelle's blindside.
How about hashtag my brother Cody?
Oh God.
Okay, hashtag my brother Cody.
Does that give my brother Cody too much credit?
My brother Cody.
Okay. It doesn't pop up enough.
Yeah, no. All right.
Cody.
So great job, Brendon and Rachel and Adora. So nice to make some time. I know how busy you guys must be with the baby and everything. So really appreciate you guys coming on with us tonight.
You know more than anybody. How he's even able to do this.
I do know. And then I heard that you guys just decided to have a baby just so you wouldn't have to come out to the valley anymore and come in the studio.
Anything beyond sunset.
Yeah, and ask her. Tell Rob. I don't know if you can hear me right now, but
yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Tell Rob that I have a question to ask him after the show's off.
Okay. All right. Got it.
A baby question.
Baby question.
Got it. Baby question. All right. Brent, again, great job once again.
Thanks, Rob.
We'll see Brent as well on the Big Brother
Brent.
Happy Hour on Monday night on the reality TV wrap-ups.
I want in on the floaters. If they do a floater podcast, I want in on it.
Okay. I will give Jordan Parhar your contact info to book that for the off-season. Are you guys pumped up for Big Brother Digital this fall?
Yes. Oh, I did have a question about that, which was important. I wanted to ask you. Is it?
Yes.
So they were renewed for 2 more summers. So, and then I read that it was season 19 and 20 for the 2 summers. So, is season 19 the digital, or is?
No. So Big Brother 19 is just being thrown around as Big Brother Digital. Big Brother 19 will be summer 2017, and Big Brother 20 will be summer 2018. So we will be podcasting Big Brother through the summer of 2018.
Rachel, they said that the fall version is they're going to put in other elements that are more conducive to the platform of it being digital. So I don't know what that means, but they're obviously going to toy with the game a little bit, and the game is going to be a little bit shorter than what it is now.
Yeah.
So.
Everybody's gonna be 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right, and Glenn.
Right.
All right, fun show tonight. I think that we've got a lot to talk through as we find out the HOH and then the nominations. I'll talk about that in the morning. Look for that update if you want to join us live on our Facebook page at facebook.com/robhasapodcast for that. And then I will be on around 12:30 p.m. or so for that. If you want to join us, then we'll also have that on the YouTube channel and the podcast version going up. And then on Sunday night, I will be back. Taryn Armstrong, Derek Levasseur will be here on the show Sunday night. So excited about that. And then Wednesday night coming up after we get through these nominations, we'll see the power of veto. Corey Cool will join us on Wednesday night. So excited for that as well. So another fun week coming up here on the podcast. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.